Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Talk with Antonio. I am your host, Antonio. Today is March 3rd, 2025. I am making up for last week's episode that I was supposed to record, but yep, I got busy with work and everything, but I am making up right now for today, but I will record for this week for this upcoming week's podcast. So once again, I'm sorry that I didn't record, but here I am. For this week's episode is, I want to be talking about three things. The first one is, who is running the country in reality? Quote unquote Trump or quote unquote Elon Musk? And the other is, for last week, it was two deaths that really shocked the world. The first one was the death of Michelle Trachtenberg at the age of 39. Oh my God, super, super young. And the other one was very, very shocking for me. It was the death of Gene Hackman at the age of, yes, I know 95 is still, I don't like to use the word old, but it was very sudden with the death of Gene Hackman at the age of 95. But the circumstances, the way that he died, he and his wife, it was him, his wife, and his dog that died in their ranch in New Mexico, where he was living at the time. So I will be talking about that towards the end. But at first, okay, let's talk about who's running the country. Okay, let's all go back to the year 2024, the year of the presidential election. It was Donald Trump against Vice President Kamala Harris. And on the trail, it was none, and the fucking rallies that this guy was appearing with Trump was none other than fucking Elon Musk. And here's something that really caught my eye. It's on theguardian.com. It says, it's one of the humiliations of our historical moment that the constitutional order has been destroyed by such stupid and unserious people. On the trail with Donald Trump, the billionaire Elon Musk, who financed Trump's campaign to the tune of about $250 million, pledged to cut $2 trillion from the federal budget, a project that promised to wreck the economy, destroy the nation's credit, eliminate programs and institutions that structure people's lives, and create an international economic leadership vacuum in which America's rivals, namely China, could step. This would have been ominous enough on its own, but because Musk is a narcissist and a nerd, because he insists on discarding solemnity and being ostensibly irrelevant and carefree as he destroys people's lives. He named his new project the, quote, Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, a juvenile reference to a years-old internet meme from featuring a Shiba Inu. It says here that it is under this idiotic banner that Musk has upended the American system of the government, seizing an unprecedented, unelected, and seemingly wholly unaccountable degree of personal power. Less than 3 weeks into the Trump restoration, DOGE is well underway. The group is not a government department. Musk is not a cabinet member and has not been subject to a Senate confirmation process, but he is now reported has an office in the West Wing along with one of the Eisenhower executive office building across the street. At his direction, a small group of coders and engineers, men reported to be aged between 19 and 25 years old, are fanning out across federal agencies, seizing control of their sensitive data, making proposals for massive cuts. Huh. Well, it looks like Trump is just a puppet. You know, it's funny how they used to say that President Biden was a puppet. Well, golly, look at this guy now, Trump. He's a puppet of Elon Musk. Fuckers. It also says here that just days after the Trump inauguration, Musk reportedly sent an email to all 2 million federal employees, mind you, subject line fork in the road, encouraging them to resign ahead of the anticipated mass firings. Musk reportedly offered workers a buyout of 7 months' pay. It's doubtful whether any of those who take him upon the offer will ever receive it. Like, this is something that really caught my eye. How is it possible that this guy gets all the power? He gets to decide what to do with the federal workers, firing them just because Trump says, or, like Trump, ever since in the first term that he went in, he fired a shitload of people. He got rid of the whole DEI program and all that stuff. Right now, this second term, but right now, Elon Musk is just like, both Trump and Elon Musk are drunk on fucking power. They're fucking enjoying it, especially this fucking nerd right here. And it says here that Musk and his young followers have moved to shutter specific programs that had deemed wasteful, including those funds who have allocated by Congress, and to shutter whole departments. He has declared a closure of U.S. aid, America's foreign aid agency, and is reported looking to eliminate much of the Department of Education and the Department of Labor, along privatizing the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. He has seized control of the Treasury, and specifically the Treasury payment system, granting himself a personal line item veto on all government spending. He has also gained access to reams of private and sensitive data and has reportedly downloaded much of it onto his private servers. He can access bank accounts, medical histories, income, and debit records. If he cared to, he could look up to your social security number. Okay, that right there is a fucking red flag. I don't understand how is it possible this guy can get access to all of our private data. And this is something else that really caught my eye right here. Elon Musk says that Social Security, quote, the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. Just listen to what this fucking jackass says. And this is a Joe Rogan. This is courtesy of Joe Rogan, by the way. So, here goes.
Well, I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying with the
stuttering motherfucker.
You're paying if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue. Far. Have you ever looked at the debt clock?
Yes.
Okay. There's our present day debt, but then there's our future obligations. So when you look at the future obligations of Social Security, the actual national debt is like double what people think it is because of the future obligations. So basically people are living way longer than expected. And there are fewer babies being born. So you have more people who are retired and that live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligations. So however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government, it will be much worse in the future.
Why? I don't understand why is this guy fucking running his mouth on Social Security. I was having a conversation with my folks, my mom and dad, and I know for a fact that Social Security is not going to be around for me. Okay, which is fine. I don't care. I work. I can still work, and it doesn't really matter. I'm okay with that. But if there's no Social Security for me as a millennial, okay, that's fine. But for this guy just to fuck around with the Social Security of my folks, okay, that's something that I do not fucking accept. Why the fuck does this guy care? This fucker's a billionaire. Why does he fucking care about Social Security of other people? And there's this one clip that he even calls Social Security an entitlement. Where the fuck does he get off with that shit? I don't know. There's been numerous times that Elon Musk likes to fucking spread his fucking conspiracy theories on podcasts, especially Joe Rogan. Why? Like, I don't understand why is this guy. Why does he fucking care about Social Security? This fucker's rich. It just really angers me of how this guy expresses about. He calls it the biggest Ponzi scheme, and then he says that it's his entitlement. Give me a fucking break. Fuck this guy. And Joe Rogan actually responds to this guy. He says here, this is again courtesy of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan debunks Elon's Social Security lies. This is what he says.
Now they're talking about Social Security.
Yeah.
And that people are receiving Social Security that are 150 years old. But I don't think that is the reality as it's being explained by people who understand COBOL, the language, and this computer programming language that they use is ancient, right? Which is kind of crazy that they're still using that, right?
It's the government. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
So some guy who understands it was explaining that if certain factors aren't taken into consideration or certain things aren't entered in, like date of birth or when there's certain things
or date of death, or,
right? But it doesn't even necessarily mean that all these people are receiving checks,
right? They're just listed on the file.